Good evening, welcome to my kitchen. I am the culinary diva. Tonight, I will be making my legendary crab cakes. I'm making Maryland style crab cakes. They are the best. I've had crab cakes all over the world. And the best that I've experienced, I believe, is the Maryland style. The Maryland style is the jumbo lump. It's not breaded and deep fried, and it doesn't have a lot of filler. So you'll see me put this together, and we're gonna go on a journey to have some delicious, amazing crab cakes. Why I say my crab cakes are legendary? Because after you eat my crab cakes, you will not want to go to a restaurant and eat out and have crab cakes ever again. That's how fierce they are. So, I have some minced onion in a bowl, and if you not like onion, you don't have to add it, but I minced it so small that you won't even recognize that there's onion in these crab cakes. I have a half lemon that I'm going to juice first. So I'm gonna go ahead and, ooh, as you see, it popped right out of my hand. So, oh well, but it happened. So I have a half lemon that I'm gonna juice. As you see, I have this strainer, and I have this strainer on purpose because the seeds, I don't want the seeds to get into my mixture. So I'm juicing this half a lemon. As you see, all these seeds are falling in here. All right, so there we have it. We have that. Hi, welcome to my kitchen.
What are we doing today?
We're doing a Maryland style crab cakes. So I have some Italian parsley. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a chop on this Italian parsley really quick. Make sure I chop it pretty well because I want all the parsley to be incorporated into every single one of the crab cakes. So when you cook for your man, take notes. He'll do whatever you say after you feed him these crab cakes.
Well, I have to see.
Oh, you'll see. Don't get smart with culinary diva.
That wasn't smart.
Just watch and learn. Watch and learn from the master. So I have this parsley. So I've chopped it fine. And yes, my hands are clean. I washed my hands before I got started. So I have my parsley in the mix. Can you go ahead and take that and put that in the sink, please? Thank you very much. So next I'm gonna start putting in all of my different seasonings. So first I have ranch. I know that sounds weird, but it's just a little bit. It just gives that extra umami flavor. So just a little bit of ranch, about a half of a teaspoon of ranch.
Ooh, mommy.
Really? You want to be funny? Yeah, I'm gonna umami you. All right. Then we're gonna take some freshly cracked black pepper, and that's gonna be about a half of a teaspoon of that. And then we're gonna go ahead and put in some garlic powder. Sometimes I use fresh garlic and I grate it in, but today we're gonna use garlic powder. So we're gonna use I'm gonna do a 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm gonna use 1 teaspoon of complete seasoning and get this open. I'm gonna do 1 teaspoon of Old Bay. And Old Bay is a seasoning that is very popular in this region of the country. Old Bay is used on all different types of seafood and mainly crab. And Old Bay has lots of salt in it, so as you see, I'm not using any salt, and some of these other seasonings have salt in it as well, so there's no need to use any salt. I'm gonna use a little bit of dry jerk seasoning. This gives it extra umami as well. It does not add spice to it. So you still want to add this, okay? And then I'm gonna use 1 teaspoon of adobo seasoning. 1 teaspoon of mustard powder. And it seems like this is like so many ingredients, but it's totally well worth it. Then I'm gonna take some plain yellow mustard, put some of that in there. And that's gonna be about a tablespoon of that. Then I'm gonna take some hot sauce. Now this is scorpion pepper sauce. You don't have to use hot sauce this hot, but I'm just gonna use just a very tiny little bit because it gives it that tiny little kick, you know, that brings out all of the flavors in the crab cake. And then also I'm gonna use a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, and I'm gonna use about a tablespoon of that. And you're like, Worcestershire sauce in crab cakes is kind of interesting, but it actually makes the crab taste more meatier. So it's absolutely delicious. And then I'm gonna use mayonnaise. So we're gonna use about 1/4 of a cup of mayonnaise to a 1/2 cup. So I'm gonna get a good amount in there, but you don't want too much because you don't want your crab cakes to be too wet, but also your breadcrumbs are gonna help. So then I use panko. A lot of people use regular breadcrumbs, but I'm gonna use panko breadcrumbs because panko to me gives a better texture to the crab cake. So I'm gonna use about a 1/2 cup of panko breadcrumbs. And then I'm gonna go ahead and mix this up. Well, actually, one more thing, my horseradish. I'm gonna put 2 nice heaping teaspoons of horseradish, just because I love horseradish. You can put less, or you can put none if you want to. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix this up for taste, and then add my egg, because I don't wanna add the egg and then mix this up and then eat raw egg, because you don't want to do that because of raw egg can have issues, and it can give you issues in the hospital or the bathroom. Not cute.
You don't want either.
No, you don't want that either. Not cute at all. So we have our mixture. You see how pretty that is? How beautiful that mixture is?
Nice.
Yeah. So we're gonna give this a nice taste and see if we need to add anything. So this is what I'm gonna do. Go ahead and have you taste that.
You don't need to add a thing.
It's perfection, isn't it? Yes. You know why? Because I'm the culinary diva. And that's how I roll. Perfection at its best. So you go ahead and you add your egg. And then you get your egg mixed in really well. And then you go ahead and you get your crab meat. So this, you have to pop this off. Then it opens all the way. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add my crab meat. Now, can you put this in the sink for me, please? Thank you very much. So I have my crab. And so with the crab meat, you don't want, this is lumped, so you don't want it to be like tiny and shredded. So use a spatula, and you want to fold in the mixture into the crab meat. So you break it up real good, and then you just fold it in. The folding method. So as you see, I'm folding it in. And I see my social media director isn't zooming in. He's just making me do all the work, but that's okay. It's going to reflect on his paycheck. That's what's going to happen. Because I don't play that. There we go. So you see how that looks? So that's what your crab mixture should look like. And you just, fold it in and make sure it's nicely incorporated. Actually, just,
You need that.
yeah, can you just, yeah, let's just put that there because I'm going to use this. So, you can clean hands. You want to take an ice cream scooper. I have several in this drawer, so chef is always prepared. So you take an ice cream scooper, and that's how you measure your crab cakes, so that you have even crab cakes, and then you form them. So I'm going to go ahead and form all of my crab cakes into like crab balls, almost. Nice large crab cakes. And I'm going to keep doing this, and this makes about 8 nice sized crab cakes, which is wonderful. So a family of 4, you have 2 crab cakes each. Nice, and this is nice and healthy because yeah, you have a little bit of mayo and things like that, but you know, you don't have too many calories because most of this is seasoning. Because as you see, I didn't use a ton of mayo because I didn't want like super wet crab cakes. That didn't make any sense. So a little bit more in this one. So when we come back, what I'm going to do is finish this up, and when we put this in the fridge, let this set up for about 10 minutes. Once it sets up in the fridge for about 10 minutes, I'm going to put it in a 375-degree oven for about 25 minutes, and I will show you the finished product. Before you do put it in the oven, you want to spray each crab cake with cooking spray. That way it'll brown as it's in the oven. I will see you shortly as I complete this and put this in the oven. Thank you. Welcome back. So the crab cakes are done. I'm going to take them out to show you what they're supposed to look like. Nice and hot. So as you see, they're a nice golden brown. As you see, this one kind of fell apart in the oven. That's totally okay. The flavor will still be great. It's not perfect, but that does happen, so don't fret. But as you see, you have the golden brown hue from when I sprayed it. Also, another tip is use a non-stick aluminum foil. If you don't have it, you can also spray the foil as well in the pan. I always use foil in the pan. It's easier cleanup than to just put it on the pan. Excuse me. So thank you for joining me in my kitchen. I am the Culinary Diva, and this is Maryland Crabcakes.